Palma welcomes you! 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 The Pomo 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 welcomes you! Kapama 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 welcomes you! The Pomo 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 welcomes you! Capalmo welcomes you. 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 The Pomo 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 welcomes you. Capalmo 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 welcomes you. The Pomo welcomes you! 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 The Pomo welcomes you. 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 Kapama welcomes you! 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 The Palma 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 welcomes you! Kapalma welcomes you! Kapalma welcomes you!
Good evening and welcome again, everyone. With a very gentle start this morning. Very nice to get in with one of my favorite events, which is the Track and Sign. And Track and Sign is designed to evaluate a guide's ability to interpret all manner of signs, not only footprints, but even things like dung and feeding signs. Have left behind, and I truly believe that being a better tracker does make one a better guide, because it allows you to see things that are out there even without having to see the animals themselves, and that allows you to explain them and a little bit better. So the judges came up with some very intense questions today. We all had a look once the finalists had their chance. They were very intense. The judges were not holding back, and the finalists did very well. They all kept their calm, and they stayed cool, calm, and collected. It was a tough morning. It was starting to get a little bit warm, so towards mid-morning we came back for a nice lunch here at our host sponsor, the Kapalma Private Game Reserve. Once again, the guys pulled out all the stops for us, and they gave us a wonderful hospitality experience. Later on this afternoon, we really got into the thick of things, and that's when the real intense events started. So Kimmy was first up on the bushwalk this afternoon. And a bushwalk is designed to give one a chance to slow down. It's a little bit different to the bushwalk. I always explain that, different to the game drive, and that game drives are a little bit like watching a movie. So everything happens very quickly. There's lots of action. You get very close to the animals, and you get a chance to take some incredible photographs. But a bushwalk is a little bit more like reading a book. So one has a chance to really slow down and look at everything with in much finer detail, and just take your time and enjoy the peace and quiet out there without the noise of the engine. So the gentleman up on our game drive this afternoon was Warren. Warren was first up, and a game drive is also very important for us as a guide, because that's where you're going to spend the majority of your time with your guests, and you get to cover the full spectrum of the reserve and get to see as many animals as possible. So these two events carry the heaviest weighting in the competition. The bushwalk and the game drive is where most of the points are scored, but of course all of the other events are very, very important as well. And Jan was on one of the other events, which is the photographic game drive, and slightly different to the general game drive. The focus here is obviously on the photographic experience. And it's not so much about who can take the best photograph. It's about who is guiding their guests to their best photographs. And the judges will be looking for things like the angles that you're using, how well do you understand the light, and the light doesn't always have to come from behind you. Sometimes backlight works wonderfully for shots of zebras and lions where you can really highlight their manes. So Roger and Andrew from Canon are judging that competition, and they're also looking for how well the guides are prepping their guests with regards to equipment, bean bags, where they're positioned on the vehicle. So it's a very, very intense set of events, and we look forward to seeing what our finalists can conjure up for us over the next few days. So this evening, I'd like to please encourage you. We are live and interactive, so if you could please, section below, we're going to have Ruan joining us this evening, and he's going to be coming and joining us for some storytelling, and we'd like to find out a little bit more about him. So if I can please ask Ruan to come and join me down here by the fire.
Happy birthday.
Ruan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come and join me here. Good to have you.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us here at your home ground. Obviously, you're the home boy in town here at Kapama, and we're very grateful for all of the wonderful hospitality that you folks have shown us, and it's been very special. We've had fantastic game viewing, and it's just a beautiful lodge and a beautiful setting here.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's a huge pleasure for us to have everyone here and join the experience with us at Kapama.
Thanks very much. And tell us a little bit more about how does it feel to be involved in a competition of this magnitude, but to be able to experience that on your home ground must be incredibly special. You must be very proud to share that with the people that you know and love around here.
No, definitely. You know, as when we walk past, you know, the reception area and you see everyone, and you know, it's a proud sensation. It's a good feeling, and definitely still hoping to get them motivated to be with us. So it's a bit stressful on the other hand, you know, because you don't have that much leeway to
Sure,
mess up a bit. Yeah, everyone is watching.
But I think everyone's rooting for you, and yeah, I think don't let the pressure get to you. You're doing very well so far, and yeah, you've been very kind and gracious to us so far.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Ruan, so got some questions for you this evening. We'd just like to understand a little bit more about you as a guide and what made you get into this industry. So how did you become a safari guide? What made you want to become a guide?
So I was in an outreach in Mozambique, and just walking around, you know, the rural areas of Manjakazi, and just, you know, feeling a bit more in touch with nature and leaving the footprint behind, you know, in the soil. It's definitely something that fueled me, and just that light bulb moment that went off, saying, you know, this is what I need to do as a career. And you know, the ultimate goal for me was for walking, doing the trails, and let other people experience what I've had a brief moment of experiencing in Mozambique, and that's where my career started.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that that's one of your passions, is walking trails and being out on foot in the bush?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, I enjoy the drives and all of that, but I think I feel, you know, the experience and the thrill of going out on a bushwalk is definitely something that just gives me a bit of oomph at the end of the day.
Very good, yeah. A bushwalk it's a different way of experiencing the bush and really feeling the earth through the soles of your feet rather than through the tires of a vehicle.
No, 100%, yeah.
So obviously we you know, meet many people from all different walks of life while we're guiding, and we learn things along the way. You know, you learn from people, you learn from just the pressures of this environment. So what is the most important thing, would you say, that safari guiding has taught you?
Sure, it taught me a lot of patience. But definitely, you know, that there's always opportunities. If it's learning from a colleague or from a tracker or from a guest, you know, and it's taught me how to be more humble. So that pretty much sums it up for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that nature can be very humbling, and yeah, it's definitely it's a common thing that we all share that binds us together. I think being out in nature and in the wild together.
Yeah.
Why do you think that an event like the Safari Guide of the Year is so important for our industry?
So I think it's definitely a way that you know, showcasing what the industry is about, you know, and what we all go through and the challenges that we face, and you know, the extent of how we go to make this a career and not just a hobby. You know, it definitely a passion that you've got, and I think Safari Guide of the Year is definitely something that showcases all of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that if you're just looking to get into this as a holiday job, you're going to spend maybe a year out here and you're going to get chewed up and spat out. I think you really have to have a true love for this in order to make this a long-standing career and be able to spend many years out in the bush.
No, 100%, yeah.
So we also have some questions from some of our viewers that are watching live with us. We have a question from Kestrel in Magaliesburg. Kestrel would like to know, what is your favorite bush sound?
Favorite bush sound?
Maybe something that is calling at night, but something that just makes you think of being out in the bush?
Yeah, I think definitely favorite sound is the fiery neck nightjar. You know, if I hear fiery neck nightjar, it just tells me you're in the bush. Everything is real. It's yeah, that's definitely the sound for me then.
For sure, yeah. You don't hear fiery neck nightjars sitting in Johannesburg.
No, 100%, yeah. And if you are, it's someone learning the bird calls. Eh?
So we have a question from Kay back home, and she's asking what is the best advice that you have for somebody looking to get into this as a career, into field guiding as a career?
Sure, I think the best advice, you know, you have to really want to do it. It's not just something that you can go into and do a quick crash course just to get some knowledge. I think going into the career is definitely, you need to have the passion and the drive for it, and you know, just to carry on with your career. Learning more from every aspect, you know, if it's from hospitality to just guiding, to tracking, you need to want to do all of this thing to make yourself a great guide.
Sure. Another question from Steph in Namibia, and she wants to know what it feels like to be a nominee in a competition of this magnitude.
It's being a nominee, you know, it's you've got that bit of a chip on the shoulder, being recognized. But I think it's very humbling, and it's such a prestigious event, and you know, to be part of it is a once in a lifetime experience that I think, well, I'm hoping that a lot of guys in the future will be able to feel.
It's something very, very special, and it's something that I'm very envious that you get to do this this year. I wish that I could do it again with you, but this is your year, and we're all very much looking forward to the story that you're going to share with us this evening. So without further ado, I'm going to head on off, and I'm going to leave the floor over to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. All right. So when it came to the whole storytelling idea, and you know, I was taking a drive out, you know, just to try and clear my mind. Came to this beautiful, elusive, special sighting of a herd of impalas, and sitting there, I thought to myself, you know, what is my most memorable experience as a safari field guide? And it dawned on me that my most memorable experience was definitely something that was also my most emotional, terrifying, exhilarating experience that I've ever had. And it all started with, you know, I had a honeymoon couple coming for a safari, and they've been to previous reserves, and they came to Kapama, and they told me, introducing myself, and I'm asking, so, you know, what would you still like to see? I know you've been everywhere. You know, what's the one thing that you still need to make your safari experience a whole in South Africa? And of course they said, we want the leopard. So I went to my tracker back then. It's called Nicholas Atoli. He's at Thorny Bush at the moment. And I'm going to Nicholas and I'm like, Malum, so uncle, so these guys are looking for a leopard. And so we're planning our drive, and just the morning of, they had a sighting of a female leopard and quite close to where we had our attraction signs assessment this morning. So we're making our way to the drive, to the area, and the next moment, you just feel that hit on the bonnet, stop. So we stop, we get out, and we're looking on the ground for the tracks, and he's like, okay, it seems to be a very young leopard track. So I feel very excited. I'm like, we've got this in the pocket. I'm like, you know what, so there is this riverbed, it's getting nice and cool. It's a perfect time for the leopard to come out. So let's go look. So driving this riverbed, and as we are driving, the next moment, like, now we're stuck. Go to low range, and we're just digging ourselves a bit deeper and deeper and deeper. So we're stuck now. I'm like, okay, well, we can just get off. We're just quickly gonna jack the car up. I'm gonna walk, get some rocks just to get us out of the situation. Having Nicholas, jacking up the vehicle, I'm walking, getting some rocks, and I pick up this one boulder, and just in my peripheral vision, I see this movement, and there's these two lion cubs. So obviously, immediately I'm like, we got the wrong tracks there. That was not the leopard tracks. So trying to very slowly head backwards. I gave a slight jog. I know we should not run in the bush, but look at me, I don't run. So we were slowly heading back, and get still out of the vehicle, and the next moment we just hear this contact calling of the lioness. So obviously I thought as I was walking back, like, where's mom? Because if you guys are here, mom is around somewhere. And getting them very calm, like, don't worry, it's fine. And suddenly these lioness, they just, they went into this motion where they are talking now. So with this newlywed couple, the next moment I just see him shoving his wife away. He's on the vehicle, so their honeymoon didn't go very well after that. But he's on the vehicle. I'm like, no, get out. So my thoughts were, these lioness, they've already seen the commotion happening around us. If they get on the vehicle, we've got nowhere to go because we're still stuck. So obviously I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, Ruan, this is not happening, man. There goes your career, there goes a lot of paperwork, and we're standing there, and I think, in South Africa, if you say voetsak, every animal knows exactly what you're talking about, So we're trying to get them to voetsak, and the next moment you just hear this. And we look to the left, and I just see this little white tusk come out. And surprise, surprise, there's an elephant bull coming out. So now we're stuck between the lioness and the elephant bull, and I'm thinking to myself, what else can go wrong? This is not happening. So these lioness are still here, and this elephant looks at us, and the next moment he just saw those lions and he started chasing them. So, well, I think we all know if you see an elephant running away, they look quite pathetic, with those bumps in the tail, and like, nah, you know, he's not dangerous. And chase those lions away, and the next moment he stopped, he turns around, looks straight at us, ears open, and he's moving towards us. And I'm standing there now. Leaves the honeymoon couple. Well, the man's on the vehicle, the lady's behind us with Nicholas, and this elephant is just approaching. So again, you know, shivering. You think you know what you're doing, but you don't really know what you're doing. And he approached, and it was probably, 5-10 meters, and he just stopped. Now I'm standing there and I'm trying to think to myself, how do I show respect and really ask, you know, please don't do anything. So I take off my hat, trying to, like, you know, yeah. So, you know, maybe he thought, you know, oh yeah, this guy's really genuine, or or I'm blinding him with my white head. So, but nonetheless, he stopped, and what felt like an hour was a few seconds of just me looking at him looking at me, and you know, it's a feeling that I think some of us might have experienced, but it's like the whole world just stood still, you know, and it was just this moment that we shared, and shook his head, and he moved off. You know, that day is something that I'll take away. I'll take to my grave. I'll never forget that elephant bull. I will still be able to recognize him today, and hopefully he does not recognize me. And you know, having everyone settled back, having a very quiet drive back to the lodge, because now there's friction between our little honeymoon couple. And on the way back, I'm thinking to myself, you know, things happen, things change. You know, you can try and show off your skill, but there's a lot happening in the mind. I'm trying to relax still, and just probably 5 minutes before we came to the main gates of the lodge, there's this leopard is just sitting on this termite mound, you know, 5-5 visual, and I'm like, yeah, you know, they can forget about all of that. You know, we got the leopard, and you know, it's at that point that I realized, you know, we're all here, and you know, you do your best, you get the qualifications, and you know, but sometimes it's like a 95% luck and 5% skill. You know, you can track something down as long as you want to. If it doesn't want to be found, you can't find it. And I think the moral of it all is, you know, even with us here, we've all been working very hard for what we are doing and to try and impress and show what we've worked hard for. But at the end of the day, things happen in mysterious ways, and I think that's something that I'll take home with me, and hopefully for the rest of my fellow contestants as well. So that's it. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
wonderful story, Rowan, and
Thank you.
I hope that we've all taken some tips away from that about how to get out of those sticky situations in the bush, and in hilarious fashion as well. So thanks very much, Rowan. You can stay
You're
with me.
welcome.
We've got a little message from James and Elizabeth Osman. For you, she says, obviously James and Elizabeth both say congratulations to you and all the finalists for reaching it this far in the competition. It's already an incredible honor to make it to the finals, and they wish all of you the best of luck for the rest of the week.
Oh, thank you.
All the
Thank
way
you very
from
much.
Michigan. So we're very sad to not have James and Elizabeth with us here this year. They've been with us for the last couple of years, and we hope to see them back next year. We do have Ashley, who's joining us as a guest sponsor from the US as well, and we're very glad to have her here with us. But I think we're all getting to that stage where we're getting a little tired. We have been staring at the tracks all day in the sun, and we've been scanning the bush for lions and leopards all afternoon. So it's about that time where it's almost bush midnight, as we call it.
Bush midnight.
Early start tomorrow morning, so we're going to say goodnight to all of you. Thank you for joining us back home, and please remember to follow us on social media. We are on the handles of the Safari Guide of the Year and the Field Guides Association of Southern Africa, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So thank you very much for joining us once again, and please remember to join us again tomorrow night at 8:30. Have a great evening from here.
Hey, oh, that was amazing.
Nonsense.
Give me a shoe.